So it turns out that anyone who passed primary school can own a bonsai, especially a Spekboom bonsai. I guess we've all been there, staring at a cool miniature tree and thinking to yourself, damn, I would like one of those. But then you instantly shot down that thought, because how on earth do you even begin to care for it? How do you prune it? How much water do you give it? Where are you going to get the time to look after it? But hear me out, it's really not that hard, and I'll show you. Just stick with me and you'll gain the skills to stare at your very own miniature tree. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty stuff, let's talk about getting to know your bonsai. Because, let's face it, bonsai care is a bit like marrying someone. I won't advise putting a ring on a person's finger without getting to know your potential partner first. The same counts for bonsai. You want to know a bit more about the tree before working on it and caring for it. Introducing the Portulacaria afro, also known as the Spekboom, Dwarf Jade or Elephant Bush. The Spekboom are from South Africa, more specifically in the semi-arid southern Karoo that stretches from the western to the eastern Cape. They are then found all the way up to Limpopo in frost-free areas, but not like how they grow in the southern Karoo. That's where the Spekboom occurs in dense thicket, almost like a succulent forest. They tend to grow in rocky areas, especially on steep rocky slopes. How much water do you need to give your Spekboom bonsai? This is totally dependent on how big your pots are, how much sun it gets, and the rainfall. The best answer would be to check your soil. If it's dry, then you can give it water. If it's moist, rather hold back with the watering. It's easier to kill a Spekboom with overwatering than it is with underwatering. When it really needs a drink, the leaves will shrivel up, but it won't die. My Spekboom are in small plastic tubs and I give them a soak every week or second week depending on whether it rained or not. What type of soil does your Spekboom bonsai need? Looking at nature, we know they grow in semi-arid areas with rocky soil. So we should mimic those conditions. Any well-draining soil will do the job. For example, any cactus, bonsai or custom mix will work perfectly. I personally mix sand, seedling mix and compost equal parts. How much sun does your Spekboom bonsai need? Looking at nature, we know that they grow in a very sunny area. Thus, I would give my Spekboom bonsai between 6 and 10 hours of direct sunlight. I have noticed that when they grow in the shade or indoor, they tend to get aphids. How do you prune and wire your Spekboom bonsai? That's totally dependent on what style you want it to be in. I would suggest to go and have a look online at other trees and decide on a style that will more or less work with what you currently have. Take a picture of your tree and roughly sketch on the image how you want it to look like. Then, while you prune and wire the tree, keep that sketch close by so that you can imagine it on your tree while working on the tree. Don't stress too much about how to wire correctly when starting out. You can wire the branch itself or just pull it down with a wire string. I've seen people using rope with weights attached to pull the branches down. You can learn all the correct techniques at a later time. For now, let's not give you information overload and just do as you please. The best time to prune your tree would be spring and summer. If you live in a tropical area and get winter growth, then that's totally fine to prune in the winter as well. The key takeaway is prune the long shoots that are out of your imaginary lines and to bend the branches to your vision. When is the best time to repot your Spekboom bonsai? Repotting usually happens in spring and summer. It can be done all year round, but I would say the most optimal time would be spring and summer. How do you repot your Spekboom bonsai? Simply remove it from its container, loosen the soil, and give the roots a little prune to make them even in length. Fill about half or 3/4 of your container with new fresh soil, then insert the Spekboom and fill the space with soil. There will most probably be some air pockets, so just take something like a chopstick or a stick and just poke around there. That would sort that out for you. After the poking, you can now go and get yourself and your Spekboom a nice lekker drink. How often should you repot your Spekboom bonsai? This question is totally dependent on how large your container is. There isn't a fixed number, and Spekboom are super forgiving as they don't care that much about being root bound. If it's in a small bonsai pot, then you can repot yearly. Anything larger can be every 2 or 3 years. They really aren't fussy. Should you fertilize your Spekboom bonsai, and with what? It won't die if you don't fertilize it, but it will be super happy if you do. Any natural fertilizer that is high in nitrogen will do the trick. I personally use a natural all-purpose fertilizer pellet, vermi-tea from my own worm farm, and some guano fertilizer. With all that said, I really hope that after this video you feel competent and eager to own your very own Spekboom bonsai. You see this SVG bundle thing here? If you purchase this, not only will you receive super cool SVGs, but you'll also become part of giveaways group where we will host multiple giveaways, such as quality bonsai all the way to safari trips. As if that isn't sweet enough, all of the money would go towards restoring the degraded Spekboom thicket and wildlife conservation. If you just want to say thanks for the video, buy me a coffee from the link below and I'll use that to plant a few Spekboom. Cheers.